League of Legends 5v5 from yesterday. I am going to be going through. I'm going to be doing both our 5v5 that we played as well as a 2v2 that I played in as well. I'm probably going to stop the stream and then restart it real quick for the 2v2. I'll do the 5v5 first. That way it's broken up in two videos and it's really easy just to export those to YouTube into two individual videos. So, yeah, I'm super into League of Legends analysis, commentary, that kind of thing. So I'm pretty excited to do it. That's why I wanted to do this. I thought it was a good opportunity because I can go through my solo queue games, but nobody's really going to care about that except me. So the nice thing about looking at these 5v5s is, well, everyone who participated in it, everyone in WA is obviously going to have some interest in it, and perhaps even I'll try to make this sort of a general enough that even if you're not really familiar with League of Legends, you can at least get some idea out of it, get something out of it, cheer on your great company, or look at, how your great company performed, how your peers performed that do play League of Legends. So, yeah, hopefully people will get some enjoyment out of this one. But yeah, before we jump right in to the actual replay of the game, I just wanted to give a little bit of background on this. I've got the pick ban phase written down here and who participated. So for starters, the 5v5 it was between the Companions of Aegir and the Guardians of Ran, and the participants were with positions as well. For the Companions of Aegir, top lane was Steiner, who had the IGN Righteous Kale. In the jungle was Mason Cooler. Mid lane was Conungramir. AD carry was Solios, and support was Foldmather. And then for the Guardians of Ran, we had top lane, we had Johan, who's in-game is Zucker, and then in the jungle, we had Manigothi, who's Dr. Medic in-game. Mid lane, we had Eudor, AD carry me, Vesper, and then support, we had Urson, who is Cyber Morgana in-game. So basically, yeah, this was one of the challenges. I believe it was Manny's challenge against Conungramir. I'm not actually entirely certain who made the initial challenge, but needless to say, yeah. So let's get into the champion picks. So kind of standard tournament draft for this one. Obviously, it's on Summoner's Rift. So basically, what we had was you start off with 3 bans from each side. You ban 3 champions, and then you get 3 picks from each side. Then you have a second ban phase where each team gets to ban another 2 champs. Then you move into 2 more picks. So starting off with bans, as is pretty standard these 5v5s, basically people were just banning away target picks, target bans towards people's mains. So the first ban, I believe, thrown out was Kale from the Guardians of Ran. So looking at the companions, both Steiner, obviously with the name Righteous Kale, and Soullight. I know myself playing for the Guardians, I can give some insight into sort of what our thoughts were going into the bans. And we definitely wanted to get Kale out of the way, firstly because at least 2 members of the Companions of Aegir play Kale a lot, and I feel pretty good at Kale. I believe this was Manigothi's idea, but I mean, I definitely agreed with it. And I also think Kale, while I think Kale gets a lot of hate in like a high elo for her poor laning phase, I think at our elo, Kale can really hard carry. She can be a huge hyper carry, and this isn't a hyper carry like Jinx or Kog'Maw, where if you can get on them, you can kill them. Kale has her ulti, she has a heal, she has a lot of even like self-peel ability in that. Well, self-peel probably isn't the right word, but survivability, I guess I would say. So definitely, like without like really coordinated high-level play, I think Kale can really take over a game. So I think that was a good ban. That was our thoughts. The companions banned Evelynn away. That's the target ban towards Manigothi. Evelynn's his favorite jungler, plays her a lot. He was planning on playing her, so that was a smart ban from them. Next, we had a Udyr ban. Manigothi, I believe, threw this one out because we believe that Mason Cooler plays a fair bit of Udyr. I don't recall how much Udyr he plays myself, but it was, yeah, just something Manigothi threw out as a ban. And then our final ban was Zed. We were assuming that the Companions of Aegir were in, as we call it, LCS order, which means that listing their summoner names, we actually weren't 100% certain who was playing what position, but we thought that Khan was playing mid, and we were pretty sure there was a little bit of uncertainty on our side, so we said, okay, Khan's main mid laner is Zed, so we'll ban Zed away from Conungramir, and that finished our ban phase. The companions, they banned Ezreal away from me. I do play a lot of Ezreal. I believe he's probably my 4th most played AD carry, but I've been playing a lot of him recently, so that's one thing, is that kind of I don't necessarily want to say recency bias, but the fact that I've played a lot of Ezreal lately, and I think generally I have a pretty good grasp on the champion. Most of the time, I've had pretty good games on him. So I think most of the people on the campaigns probably had seen me play a lot of Ezreal lately. And he also can be quite frustrating. He did get nerfed in regards to his build. You used to be able to build two different tier items on Ezreal, and they got rid of that. You can only build one. So he's not as good, I would say, with that, but I think he's still pretty strong. It wasn't such a nerf that it like threw him out of the meta or anything like that. But regardless, I do play a fair bit of Ezreal, and Ezreal is very good at escaping from heavy CC and poke, which I know, at least looking at the bot lane, Soullight and Foldmather, I think, in my experience, are very much an all-in 2v2 players, so they definitely are looking for kills, and Ezreal being able to just Arcane Shift with his E away is certainly problematic for that, so I think that was a pretty logical ban. I imagine most of them were definitely for that one. And lastly, Ahri was banned away from Eudor. Eudor's main champs are Orianna and Ahri. He plays a huge amount of those, plays quite a lot of Lux and a little bit of Annie as well. And obviously, some other champions beyond that, but Ahri and Orianna being his biggest. Banning Ahri away makes sense. Eudor's definitely one of the most skilled mid laners in WA, so targeting that I think made a lot of sense for them. And that concluded the first ban phase. So then with the picks, we got into the pick phase with Fiora being locked in for us, the Companions of Aegir had first pick. So they started with the Rek'Sai, if I recall correctly, and that was pretty much a dead giveaway because we weren't sure if Khan was mid or jungle, or at least there was some confusion, and I was saying that Khan is likely mid, because I assumed they were in order, which they were. And when the Rek'Sai was locked in, we were certain that was Mason because I know Mason has played some Rek'Sai with us, and Khan does not play Rek'Sai, so that was pretty much confirmed to us that Khan was playing mid lane and Mason Cooler was playing jungle. So the Rek'Sai was locked in. We locked in Fiora and Sejuani, just straight picking down Fiora for Johan and Sejuani for Medic. Because Evelyn was banned away, Sejuani, Manigothi said that was one of his main comfort picks. That's kind of why that was locked in. And then we moved into the next two picks for the Companions of Aegir. So they did lock in Poppy and Akali. So the Poppy pick was obviously not a surprise. Steiner plays a huge amount of Poppy. I think that it wasn't something we looked at in the ban phase because I think we sort of forgot. I mean, you have a limited number of bans as well. But on the other hand, I think that we already had put a Kale ban, which is pretty target ban towards Steiner. So we obviously, you can't necessarily afford to just throw all three bans at one player or something like that. And I think we kind of forgot, but then once Poppy was locked in, we are like, oh, that's right, Steiner's Poppy, not a huge surprise. And then Khan locked in Akali, which is one of his top mid laners below Zed, who was banned away. So not too many curveballs there. And then, of course, Theodore locking in Orianna with his other main Ahri banned away. So no big surprise. Then we move into the second ban phase. So we had we actually banned away Pyke. This was something Manigothi suggested. I know Pyke can be difficult to play against. I know I personally, I really have no issues playing against Pyke, and I'm not sure that Foldmather plays a huge amount of Pyke. I know he has played it, but I would have been fairly surprised to see him lock that one in. But regardless, I mean, no objections there. I think that we didn't really have any other bans because I think Soullight and Foldmather both play quite a few champs. Like, Foldmather definitely does, so I definitely, like, we probably could have tried to ban, like, Nautilus or Taric or something away from Fold, but I probably would have objected that because I think Foldmather just has a pretty big champion pool, and it's kind of a waste to just throw bans at something like that when, the player is just going to perform pretty well on any champion that he's able to lock in, even if you ban some of them away. So we did ban the Pyke. They banned the Vayne away from me, not a big surprise. My number one played AD carry. I was a little bit intrigued that Vayne was banned on the second ban phase rather than the first, so Ezreal prioritized over that, but I can imagine that being that Vayne has kind of a weak laning phase, and they may have been hoping to play more early game, so actually maybe playing against Vayne was not something they were super worried about in terms of if they were able to close the game out pretty early, might not have as much of an impact. And Ezreal definitely has a safer laning phase, so I can understand the priority on that somewhat. And then we've been Lucian away from Soulite. I told Antigodi that I would expect Soulite to lock in Tristana or Lucian, so one of those should be banned. We decided to ban Lucian because I think he is stronger in the meta right now, even though Tristana has that mobility and that snowballing capability. The thing about Lucian is he just has a very strong laning phase, and definitely, at this point, I wasn't sure who I was going to play, but I was considering probably some hyper carries. I mean, I play a fair bit of Sivir, I play some Caitlyn, even somebody like Jhin. I think Jhin into Lucian is manageable, but it can be tough. I think if Lucian gets ahead, Jhin can really, really be in for a bad time. And I was kind of looking at Jhin as my second most played AD carry with Vayne banned away. But we do want to ban Lucian just because strong in the meta, Stolight's good on him, so we want to get that out of the way. And then the last ban was away from Urson, of course, username Cyber Morgana. No surprise, they ban away as Morgana, so that was his main pick taken away. So then with our last pick phase here, I actually or they locked in. Let's see. Oh no, I believe it was I pick first. Yeah, that's right. So I locked in Miss Fortune, who is probably my third most played AD carry. I played her a lot in ranked last season, and I think she's in an okay spot right now. Pretty good, not overpowered or anything like that. The one nice thing about Miss Fortune is she's somewhat safe in that her W passive gives her passive movement speed, and she can activate it to give her more movement speed. And if you build her, this isn't necessarily the meta build anymore, but I still build her lethality, which means your first item is going to be Youmuu's Ghost Blade, which gives you out of combat movement speed and an active ability that gives you even more movement speed. So that's a lot of movement speed built into her kit. And yeah, she doesn't have a dash or something like Ezreal or Lucian, but she does have that ability, if you have enough movement speed, to kind of kite out abilities and dodge a lot of stuff, like Nautilus hooks, for example. So I thought it was a fairly safe pick, one that would still be strong in laning phase, and I was kind of expecting a Tristana from Soulite, so I wanted somebody that could do fairly well in laning phase to try to kind of contest Tristana during the laning phase. And then with that, we saw them lock in Tristana Nautilus, I believe. So Tristana, no surprise from Soulite. He's a great Tristana player, one of his top champs with the Lucian banned away. And then we had Nautilus locked in for Fold. Not a big surprise. Like I said, he's got a big champion pool, but definitely Nautilus good at engaging, and also I think good into Miss Fortune with his ult, able to interrupt Miss Fortune's ult. And then the final pick was Zillion for Cyber Morgana. He said that was his next most comfortable pick. And Zillion, I think, pretty strong in the meta right now. I think just that ability to have the revive lets you play aggressively and can really turn fights. Kind of makes you have a 6v5, that kind of thing. Hey, Math, just saw you in chat. Sorry, I have my notepad document for Pickman here covering it up. Thanks for tuning in. Have I seen the new Miss Fortune build? Not sure which one. I know that the meta one I've been seeing is, I believe you start. It's like a mix. Actually, I'll see if I can find it here. Is something I've seen some people kind of mix crit and lethality, where you build like an Infinity Edge, or you build like a Youmuu's into Infinity Edge or something like that. Oh no, that's right. So the core build, yeah, that people have been doing lately is actually Bork start into kind of the standard lethality with a Black Cleaver and stuff like that. I actually could have gone Black Cleaver, but especially last season playing a lot of Miss Fortune, I kind of drifted away from Black Cleaver. I like it on Lucian because he's shorter range. I feel like he's less safe, having a little bit of extra survivability, and that Lucian likes to chase people down, in my opinion. So if you have Bork Black Cleaver, you can use the Bork actor to slow them, and Black Cleaver has that passive that gives you movement speed when you attack them. So you can really chase people down with Black Cleaver. And it's also handy for shredding armor. But Miss Fortune, I feel like, doesn't necessarily, because she's got so much movement speed, I actually prefer going Bloodthirster third item. I just really like Bloodthirster as an item. I build it in like every 80 carry, so I generally go for that. But yeah, press the attack, Bork. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on u.gg. I imagine it's pretty good. I guess I think I considered that, but I kind of played like Season 8 Miss Fortune. I think just because I played Miss Fortune so much last season, playing her Dark Harvest with full just lethality into Bloodthirster, that I decided to just kind of do the same build, even if it's not quite meta, I guess, because I just went for comfort. Because I actually felt even the first 5-10 minutes of the game, I hadn't played much Miss Fortune in quite a while, so I felt a little bit rusty. So I think it was probably a good call for me to just like build the way I'm used to, even if it's not super optimal, just so I'm not, yeah, to be like more comfortable in champion. But yeah, I do really like building Bork on a lot of AD carries. I know on Vayne it's so nice just to have that lifesteal, like being able to go back and early buy. Even you can even go inspiration, so you have futures market. If you take that rune, you have some extra money. You can usually get a Vamp Scepter really early. You have early lifesteal, really helps you survive the laning phase. So yeah, I do really like Bork. I think if I play more Misfortune, I might look at it. I know. Actually, I don't think I played like one game of Misfortune in ranked this season. I've actually not even played that much ranked. But yeah, I think with that, we'll get you guys into the game. So I should have had some kind of diagram, like a visual aid here for the pick bands while I talk about them. But I think you can see it now. I'll flip over all these cards to show everyone's mastery here. You can see um, kind of fairly balanced in terms of mastery, I'd say. And you can pause the VOD if you need to. But Poppy and Orianna both with a ton of mastery. Everyone else usually somewhere around 30 to 40k, save for Cyber Morgana, Medic, and Mason Cooler, not having too much mastery on the champs, but I mean, I think clearly comfortable on them. Here you can see Foldmather was just pinging for an invade early. I think we were expecting that with Nautilus. Pretty much any hook champion, you're expecting that early invade. So I think we all were kind of expecting this. I don't know if it was necessarily called out, but I think I went and checked. Really good hook from Folda there, actually. He kind of just caught Zillion, but you can see they're a little bit afraid because they don't know where everybody is. They actually don't know if Fiora is here or not. They don't know that she actually went top lane, so it is 4v5. And here, Eodor gets a little bit of a trade, but he actually turns back, goes into melee range against Poppy, and you can see that Steiner, obviously like showing the experience on Poppy there, gets a super good trade. This is another good hook, and then here we both think we're going to get the kill, but Solite there, flashing for the last auto on that Tristana bomb, picks him up the first blood. That's pretty good from them. I know one thing I thought about was flashing for like a Q auto or just an auto on Foldmather. I think may have finished him, but I was pretty sure I'd instantly die, and I didn't really want to risk that, knowing that I pretty much couldn't get away, especially after I already burned heal to try to save Medic. So kind of unfortunate that the first blood there, and actually the first kill did go in Solite's Tristana too, which is right where they want it. Yeah, yeah, you're right, mate. Fold definitely is good on Nautilus. Had some good, I mean, you saw him just hit 2 super good hooks there in the invade. I think it helped that we were ready for it, but yeah, still, I think the fact that it was sort of like 3v4-ish because Eodor got pushed back by Steiner there, 3v5 even almost. Definitely meant they had more damage, and although it was close, yeah, they wound up picking up the kill on Medic, and that actually set us back a little bit more bot lane. Not just the kill on Tristana, but we had to wait around to leash Sejuani, so I actually didn't get into laning phase till a little bit later. So they hit level 2 first. You can see we're still level 1 here, so that was pretty rough. But I wanted to make sure that Medic still got a decent start in Sejuani. This actually is like, I remember I was watching the replay before we actually started the stream here, and like super good trading here from Zucker on Fiora, but then he, I don't know, without spoiling things, the lane definitely changes later on throughout the game, but yeah, I know she can deal with it, but I generally like to err on the side of giving my junglers the best start they can. Because I don't know, I just know from experience that if our jungler is behind, then they can, I don't know, it can be a big problem. Yeah, here you can see that they just kind of went for an all-in on us. It wasn't right when they hit level 2, it was later on, so we actually already were level 2, which is really nice. And then we had this, gank here in the top lane. This actually looks pretty good. Steiner has to back away. It's actually looking like a 1v2 for Johan. But the problem here is that the knock-up is still available there, and you've also got the Poppy dash. So unfortunately, they were able to turn back on him. What looked like a really good 1v2. It's definitely a close one there. And yeah, I kind of glossed over it, but yes, going in for the 2v2 all-in from Solite and Foldmather. They kind of overextended under tower. We got some hits off on him. Almost got 2 kills. I think if I played it slightly better, flashed a little bit differently, I might have been able to do it. But yeah, wound up catching Fold. Some good bombs from Ursan as well. I was feeling pretty good early on, although I did have to burn both summons. You can see Eudor, he really likes to roam down bot lane. It's one thing that I think he's especially good at. You can see easy just Q there on the Soul Light. Good hook from Foldmaster to make sure they get a kill in return. Overall, this looks like a pretty clean play. Like, we get 2 kills for 1. We do lose EO, but I think overall pretty good. But here, I definitely made a misplay, and you can see Steiner knows exactly the distance he needs to flash and get me. I still have my W up on Misfortune. I did mess up by autoing the blast, or the vision plant, but I should have W'd as Misfortune and ran earlier. I actually never W'd, I just got killed instantly because I just did not respect how far Poppy can dash onto me, and you can see, of course, Steiner knows that. I play way more Misfortune than Callista or Ashe. If I played either of those, it would be much less comfortable for me. I could play either Callista or Ashe, but especially after the last 5v5 where I played Tristana, who is probably one of my less comfortable AD carries, at least compared to quite a few of them. I really wanted to play something comfortable. That's why I almost picked Jhin, but I decided to go with MF in the end, but definitely more, yeah, comfortable for me than Callista or Ashe. Yeah, so overall I think bot lane was going pretty well for us, especially considering the bad start. Unfortunately, a little bit later in the laning phase, I definitely disrespected their 2v2 power a couple of times, which caused some issues for us, but one good thing it's worth noting here is that, yeah, Eudor gets this kill here. You can see just kind of draws Khan in. Unfortunately, it was close, but I think that's another case of Eudor showing his experience in Orianna. Then you have a 2v2 here, kind of returning the pressure from the gank that came in from Mason. Now you've got a Medic going top again. And Medic actually, he brought his Sejuani up there quite a lot throughout the game, which I think was pretty good because although Johan is up in CS right now, I think the matchup started to get really tough. As soon as Steiner started stacking armor, I think his Fury is really just going to struggle in that. And definitely needed the help with Sejuani there. It was a little bit of a bummer for us in bot lane because we were kind of starting to get slammed a bit, but I think we were able to kind of hold out for quite a long time, and that wound up making a difference, even though we did get ganked a couple times. Here is one of the instances where I'm definitely just disrespecting their 2v2, and also disrespecting the fact that he can just flash over the minions. You'll see Foldmather do this pretty soon here, as soon as Mason's coming in, where I was standing behind minions, but completely just ignored the fact that he could flash hook, and that's just kind of an easy pickup for them. I probably shouldn't have even healed. I thought maybe we could turn it and get a kill on Soul Light, but yeah. Just a good play from them, and definitely me disrespecting it. But yeah, one thing it's worth noting right now, and we'll see some fighting here in top lane, but the only magic damage source on the companions is Khan in the mid lane there. So they really need that Akali to be ahead, or at least in a pretty good spot, because otherwise you're going to have a Sejuani able to just stack armor, and as long as that Sejuani can frontline, that's going to be super effective against them. And the one problem with Akali into Sejuani is that even if Khan, yes, he's doing magic damage, even if the Sejuani is full armor, Akali is all about the kind of assassination burst potential. Even if Sejuani just has health and armor, the Akali is going to have a hard time bursting that down too much. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be terribly hard, but... And then here you just see Steiner once again showing off his mastery on Poppy, just knowing exactly how much damage you can do. And you can see that Johan had Flash and Ignite, so, given the right situation, probably could have outplayed or gotten a 1-for-1 there, but Steiner just takes him by surprise. There's definitely something that I think Steiner had some pretty good plays here in terms of taking us by surprise on quite a few indices. Yeah, he is playing pretty safe. I don't remember if he was saying this in voice or not. I don't believe so, but he was likely expecting them to camp mid a fair bit. And I think camping mid probably would have been a good idea for them. There's like 1 or 2 instances where I think they probably could have gotten his flash or given a gank a try, but they went for bot instead. I think there was a lot of bot focus from them, and I definitely didn't play super well this game, but I do think that the fact that we kind of weathered the storm down there did make a difference. And we kind of, Eudor was able to kind of gain pretty big advantages mid, and then that meant that with Khan behind, they didn't really have the magic damage, so that was nice for Sejuani as well. I think that put us in a good spot for sure. See, right now, one thing that happened bot was in CS, I stayed pretty even with Solite, even got a lead a little bit at the end. I don't recall exactly how that happened in terms of where we were putting the waves and whatnot, but I was pretty happy at how kind of even we kept it. I wish Khan would have let you play. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they organized the teams there. I think he just kind of pulled some random people. But yeah, here I actually flashed away with the Nautilus ult. I knew I could get Zilean ulti, but I didn't want to get chain CC'd even with Zilean ulti when I was in the middle of the lane, because I was worried that I would die. But then I had Zilean ulti, and I think that Morgana, or Ursan rather, was hoping to make sure I didn't die there. But you can see great plays from Manigothi and Johan just both flashing after Steiner to get that kill. There's a lot of summoners burned, but I think one good thing you always like to see is that kind of commitment, both of them instantly flashing after. And then here I really wanted to clear out the wave. I knew that they were going to try a dive, but I thought if I cleared out the wave it would help and I could get a couple of autos on Foldmather. Wound up being a 1-for-2 for them, so it was a good dive. We did get fold there. One thing I didn't see was I didn't see that Nautilus was the one with tower aggro, but as it turns out he died anyway, so the fact that I was autoing Triss didn't make too much of a difference. But yeah, that's another instance where maybe if I didn't flash that Nautilus ulti early on, I would have had flash for that dive, could have survived a little longer and maybe made a better play. Not sure, but yeah, I did flash away from their engage early on because, like I said, I didn't want to get chain CC in the middle of the lane, even with the Zilean ulti. Chance that they just wait that out and then just kill me again. But yeah, certainly not super good counter to that dive from us. But the one nice thing about clearing out the wave is that it prevented them from getting too much. I think so, like out 1 or 2 tower plates, but that was kind of it. Let's see. Gold. I forget the hotkey for actually gold difference between champions. Let's pause. Hold on a sec. We'll pause it here and I'll figure out the for X. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can see Soleil, I mean, he's got 3 kills, but he's about 500 gold ahead, but we've also got a 1200 gold lead there for EO in the mid lane, which is kind of most of, you know, our lead, which is only about 300 gold right now. You can see already 2 cloth armors and a ninja tabby. Steiner really having a tough time here. And Johan does a pretty good job here, I think, trading, but Steiner kind of turns it around there. Also got some minions working against him. Goes for the ignite here, so it kind of winds up being close. And he does wind up getting the kill there. So I think ultimately good play from Johan. Of course he does, unfortunately, die to Mason. That gives him, he's now 3-0 on Rek'Sai. And while they're looking bot here, but I think we kind of played pretty carefully. It looks like EO's going to die here. That ulti kind of did a little bit of damage to Khan. Then he looks for the kill on EO, doesn't get it. Now he's just kind of in a rough spot, no sums, no ulti. And then Solite goes after Eudor, but again, not quite the range on it, and then he winds up dying as well. So really close to at least getting them 1 kill there. And this was, of course, in response to the play on top, so Mason couldn't be there. But the fact that we wind up making this a 2-0, I think, really helped us gain our first kind of advantage of the game. And, you know, obviously game of inches there. In terms of it being really close, but yeah, ultimately it gets us this Ocean Drake. I think I forgot to mention, but they did pick up an Infernal Drake after that dive bot when they got a 1-for-2, so Foldmather dies for both me and Ursan dying, and they got an Infernal off of that, so that was a really good play for them. And I mean, they've still got that Infernal. Yeah, they're down 1.5k gold, but that Infernal is definitely worth a decent amount of gold. Here we did pick up Rift Herald as well, which is one nice thing that we got from that top jungle 2v2 from medics spending a lot of time up there. They were able to pick up Rift Herald. So this looks pretty good for us, and you know, we're looking to kind of hit Steiny here, but then unfortunately Johan gets caught by the Poppy there. We're looking for the kill on the Foldmather, but he gets away. We do finally take down Steiner, but it's at the cost of 3 of us, so overall 1 for 3, pretty bad. Urson does get away, thankfully, but Riftherald doesn't even take down the tower, so this is a pretty big misplay from us. I think Medic said something like, oh, we just inted there or something in voice. So it was kind of unfortunate. I think possibly we could have peeled back back towards our tower rather than up into Tribrush. Maybe it would have worked better, I'm not sure, but yeah, unfortunately we didn't have Eudor, so it was a 3 versus 4, I believe. Then here you see a really funny play where Solit does go for what looks like an easy kill, but of course Urson's ulti is up, so it winds up just being a couple tower shots that spells his doom there. So ultimately it doesn't mean too much. It is a little bit more gold in Urson's pocket, so it's nice. You can see he's actually got the Archangel's staff there. Certainly nice for him to be able to just constantly spam all his mana. And once again, Eudor getting a solo kill there in the mid lane, building that mid lane advantage, which, like I said, was especially important because Khan is their only magic damage, so it's giving more of an advantage to Sejuani. As you can see here, like if you look at gold, I'm 500 gold behind now in bot lane, so we're kind of behind. I wouldn't say that we're getting smashed, but it is kind of a rough spot. But here, Foldmather actually just goes on me. I'm not sure if he was hoping that Soulite was closer or not, or just trying to bide some time. But yeah, I just had enough damage there. But counterplay, of course, in the top. 1v2 up there is Johan, so Mason kind of returns to top. So kind of continuing that top jungle 2v2. Here, I'm actually not entirely sure what I was thinking. I do believe I thought that Urson had the Zillion ulti up. And I didn't actually look at the cooldown, that it was off cooldown. I think possibly if I was kind of waiting in that bush, hoping to get the jump on Soulite, I think I thought that I could possibly win the 1v1 if I did hit him first. But yeah, he ultimately just gets an easy solo kill there. And you can see here Steiner getting a tower in response to Eudor's there in the mid lane, so... Overall, at this point, I mean, I still feel like it's fairly even, especially with the Infernal Drake. I think we did get that play there in the bot lane. We've got a couple of kind of extra kills in the lead in the mid lane, especially for EO, now built to 3k. So definitely a big source of our gold there, but some advantages for the companions in other lanes as well. You know, up about 700 now in bot lane, up about 900 in top, and up about 600 there in the jungle, helping to make up for the deficit in mid. CEO is roaming bot again, like I said, something he really likes to do, but he's actually caught in surprise by Mason here. He doesn't have flash, but does have ulti. Nice thing about that shield is he actually does survive, and a really good ulti there from Medic to actually shut down Mason. Of course, easy pick up here for Khan. He roams down, follows EO, picks up that kill. So here actually had heals from both AD carries. I really wanted to make sure we got full tier because I was expecting him to hook this wall, which he does, and I actually got a Q there off, but Medic also finished off the kill, so... And then Soulite was autoing over the wall a little bit, but I hit him with one auto, which I think, because he knew then he was revealed, he had to back off from that fight. So once again, kind of Medic, I think, having some pretty good ganks here, giving some attention bot, and this kind of, I believe this sets us up for taking that turret, which gives us a little bit more of a gold lead. And you can see this also a Mountain Drake up in 35 seconds, just about. So that was a nice pickup, at least to help us take down some objectives. Baron, of course, too. And here you can see, once again, with the Sunfire, with the Cloth Armor, and the Ninja Tabbies, just a really, really tough time for Johan to do anything in that matchup right now. Steiner gets another kill there. Does expend the Flash, so one tool used, but it's definitely a big advantage there in the top lane for the Companions. Definitely something that we were worried about. I think anytime you've got a tank that's really ahead, it can be tough, especially for us when we had, of course, me being AD, Sejuani's of course AP, but this isn't the old, you know, the full AP ARAM Sejuani. Here you do see Steiner roaming down, looking for something, looking to press that advantage, but unfortunately for him, we did respond. We were around mid lane, but they do get something back. They get that turret there in the bot lane. So right now 2 for 2. We are 2k up, mostly just from Eudor's advantage in mid still. So we're trying to use that, trying to pressure down this turret. I think that we were hoping maybe a recall would come out from Soul Light and Fold Mather that we'd be able to take it down, but one nice thing that I wanted to point out is really good vision. Mostly, I think, from Manigothi and Urson there. Keeping up their whole red side jungle warded meant that we saw them roaming in. And then they still look for this, so Fold Mather actually misses the hook on me, but then just throws out the ulti right when I throw mine out. So he does interrupt my ulti, but I get enough damage, and then as soon as it interrupted, I just throw out a Q auto onto him and Tristana, and we get a couple of kills there, which set us up for a Mountain Drake. So this really kind of cracks the game open for us. I think Mason goes in here for a steal, and it is pretty close, but a good smite from a medic. You can see Mason there. Unfortunately, I've had that happen a lot with kind of pathing issues, where when you click, you want to get close to the wall to be able to flash. Sometimes you get your character wind up actually moving away, moves to the wall and then away. So unfortunately, he actually does die and doesn't get the Drake, so definitely not a great feeling for the companions there. We're still kind of pushing mid here, knowing that they kind of did reset there. I believe we do get this tower, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Actually, a lot of good bombs from Urson this game. I know Morgana's definitely probably his favorite champ, but they did a good job getting quite a lot of stuns. There's one or two kind of more highlight plays, but just worth pointing out what he's been doing throughout the game thus far. You can see here with that mid lane inner down, our path to Baron is really open. The last thing we really need is that top lane outer turret. So you can see we're kind of looking up in that direction. Medic just trying to hold mid as EO recalls and then comes back. So here, we had a pretty good play, I think, on to Steinier, but it was kind of my fault. I kind of walked right up next to Urson, when I even could have probably flashed the... Oh no, my flash was just on cooldown, okay. But meanwhile, seeing everybody top, they go for a dive here on EO, which was a good play. Of course, you know, 4v2 there. I think it was pretty smart of them, but one thing they do is they stick around here. Eudor actually did a good job chunking them really low, and actually that becomes relevant if you keep an eye on those health bars. It becomes relevant in the coming fights, and the medic does a good job just kind of trying to ward them off this turret. You can see that companions, they really want to get this turret. They want to get something for that pick. So the teleport comes in from Steiner. He's obviously one of the most fed members here, so he's hoping to turn stuff around. He actually does a ton of damage here, probably more than I was expecting. I wind up burning my heal right then to get out of there. Then they kind of go in onto Urson, but I'm able to throw the ulti out. He's got an ulti on himself, so no kills there. So 1 for 0. Now we've got a 4v4 advantage, or rather, not advantage, but the advantage in health bars is the one thing worth pointing out. Soul Light is still pretty low. He's healed a little bit with red buff, but he's still pretty low. So what happens here is I see him, I assume Fold's going to hook, and I know there's a spectator bug there, so you don't see me flash out of his hook, but I do flash there. I don't think I actually knew that his ulti was down, so that may have been a bit of a boosted play from me, but I knew that with all the lethality, I had enough to kill Soul Light there, and I'm really not doing much damage to Steiner, but we just, you know, 3v1, we're able to lock him down. So that really opens the door for us to take an inhib, which really is starting to open the game up. You can see now we're up to about a 6k gold lead, with most of that still being in Eudor's pocket, but worth noting that Manigothi actually has a lead in the jungle now. So Mason was about 4-0, so that was something we were really worried about with the Rek'Sai, was him really extending that lead. You can see here they're looking for something, a pretty good ulti from Fold that kind of hits everybody, and we're kind of a split focus here, because I was very low, and Khan is actually wreaking havoc there in the back line. Meanwhile, Urson does use his ulti there onto Manigothi, which really helps him actually turn this fight. So while I do die, we wind up turning it into a 1 for 3. And a really good, that was one of the highlight plays I want to see, really good double bomb there from Urson, who locks down Soul Light right as he jumps in. Regardless of like positioning, I think that was just a really good play to be able to lock him down. Manigothi having to be careful here. Eudor does flash because at this point, the call from us was that we could be able to end. And Steiner actually making a good play here. You can see he does have the adaptive helm now as well, so he's really tanky against both Eudor and the rest of the team, regardless of damage. So we're kind of looking for the end here, but our minions are a little bit far away, and there's a lot of waves there protecting that tower. So now we're kind of the call is, okay, get out of there, get out of there. And we know Soul Light is up and Khan is up. So we're worried this is like an ace and maybe a Baron for them. They do a pretty good job there getting the kill onto Khan at least, so they get something. But we do wind up losing 3 members of our team, so a 3 for 1 there. I think that probably having Khan and Steiner, the way the deaths were staggered, made the difference, so they couldn't rush Baron. And some low health bars as well. and finally, of course, having to clear that mid wave. I believe they do wind up going to Baron a little bit later, but they're not able to run right to it. I think running right to it, if they were able to pull it off, could have been a really big play for them. Down 6k gold now, they really need that Baron, so I think it's a good play for them to be looking there, but they probably started it later than would be optimal, but at this point I think you kind of have to go for it because you know that Medic just respawns now, right? So if you burst it down, yeah, they have a Tristana, so they'll take it fairly quickly. It's going to take a little while, no Mountain Drakes or anything like that. The one advantage here is one of the times the Misfortune pick kind of shines is that I'm able just to ulti over Baron. So I kind of waited for the Baron to wear down the resistances a bit. Another great double bomb from Ursa there. And then going in, knowing that you have the Zillion ulti onto the Fiora. And then there goes Solite, actually. I'm not sure if he was just trying to get away from the Fiora, but he winds up actually jumping into the rest of the team. Because we bought enough time for Manigold and everybody to get there. So what we're able to do there is just kind of get everybody pretty low. That's the one thing about turning off of Baron is Baron, lowers all those magic and armor resist. It has that shred built in, so it really made it perfect for all of us to throw our ultis out. Johan wreaking havoc, and then of course we had the double bomb, and then my ulti plus Eodor's ulti as well meant just a ton of damage coming out. And then ultimately we just initially we were turning towards Baron, but I made the call that we should just go for the end here, and obviously we do. Pad the KDA a little bit there, but yeah, that is the game. So I thought it was a fairly interesting one. Obviously 25 minutes, so it wasn't necessarily a hotly contested 50-minute game back and forth all the way, but I think there were a lot of opportunities for either side to win through the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. You do see that Steiner got a fairly big advantage there in the top lane. Not necessarily something like he was dominating there, but they were able to get first tower. One thing I think was Eudor in the mid lane, I would say, largely made the difference here. He was able to gain that big advantage for the Guardians. I think we kept bot lane pretty stable. We did wind up getting first tower, but I don't think it was quite late in the game. It was just kind of a result of rotations and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you've got in the top lane, I think that Steiner really got to a point with the armor where he was really bullying that matchup. And I think Manigold did a good job there trying to kind of play for that 2v2 top jungle there and try to give Fiora a better shot. Especially with the Rek'Sai pretty fed. I think they had a pretty dangerous 2v2 top jungle. They did wind up getting that tower, but I think Eudor wound up getting first tower there in mid lane. So him having that advantage I think was nice, and it really enabled Medic to just stack armor. You can see even tabbies coming out from Johan there, just because it's so efficient against Poppy, Rek'Sai, Tristana. Nautilus is AP, of course, but not going full AP Nautilus. So you're looking at a Khan, and I think Akali can roam, but it's not necessarily like a LeBlanc or a Talon tier of roaming. So I think the fact that, and especially with the way the mid lane went, Khan really had to stay mid to try to contest that, and Eudor got some big advantages, so he's able to get first tower, and also, yeah, ensure, as I've said a couple times, that the armor stacking was really, really optimal for Medic, which I think helped us a lot, because he never really was at risk of dying in the last 10-15 minutes of the game with just how much armor he had. But overall, yeah, I think a really fun one to play. I think it was a fun one to watch as well. Like I said, there was some back and forth. I think really happened just a couple of good skirmishes there. We got some really close ones there where Eudor roaming down bot lane twice, which of course got both bot and mid ahead a little bit. And then we had a couple more a lot of skirmishes, I think, around that tri-brush there in bot lane were a pretty big factor. And then picking up the Drakes, I think the Mountain Drake didn't make too much of a difference. One thing about the Ocean Drake that I did want to say is when I played Misfortune, I actually took Mana Flow Band. I really like Mana Flow Band on a lot of AD carries. And I think having the Ocean Drake, it was like a 12-minute Ocean Drake, so not super early. But the one nice thing it did is it just kind of let me spam my W as Misfortune. Between Mana Flow Band and Ocean Drake, I was really never running out of mana. And one nice thing about that was it let me play a little bit safer, especially getting into those team fights where I was able to kind of kite out a little bit just to offer some perspective of how I was playing it anyway. But yeah, I'll probably call it quits with this particular game there. So yeah, I mean, GG, well played to all, obviously, and Thanks everybody tuning in for that. I'm going to go offline and then come back again real quick here and jump into the 2v2 we had with Kusiag and Eodor versus myself and Conundrumir. So I will be right back.